let's try like fucking take fucking 63. This modern technology fucking bullshit. You'd think a Sparky like myself would be able to work this fucking shit out. Yeah. Started the chat mainly so I don't get the same message from all the guys all the time about how to do shit. So I thought, fuck it, I'll start a chat group and then you can all just share what you've done. Kind of give everyone fucking big ups and stuff like that and just kind of keep progressing. So, gonna start this one off pretty fucking simply. It's gonna be on masking. I don't know why the audio never worked. Phones, fuck, who knows. So I'll keep this one quite sweet because we all know how to mask, but there is a few things that you may pick up that you kind of, might have missed. So, pretty much, most of my shells are bitty shells. Just good shells. So, yeah. Kind of starting this one because Jackson sent me the picture of his latest shell today. Fucking mint job there, Jackson. You asked, how do I get such clean lines? And my replies was regarding your masking. And that's pretty much why I'm doing this as the first video. So it's kind of an important step. It can make your life a living hell if you don't mask your shells properly. And also prep as well. So quick rundown, prep, masking, too fucking easy. So anyway, all I don't have anything fancy for this process. You see a lot of guys online, they're going, oh, you got to use Dawn dish soap, you got to scuff the fucking body, and you got to fucking rub your nuts on it to get some fucking juju fucking goodness on it or some shit. Pretty much all I do, shell arrives, I whip it out of the bag, whether it's a brand newie or it's come from a customer, gets out of the bag, they get the same treatment regardless. Go to the kitchen, I grab my bottle of fucking dishwashing liquid from underneath the sink, squirt a little bit in the shell, then I fuck off to the bathroom. I have your standard like pink kitchen sponge, like those cheap things from the supermarket, like 99-cent bullshit. Into the shower, biff some hot water in there out of the shower. Of course I don't get in the shower with it, just stand up, the door open. And scrub away with the sponge and the dishwashing liquid. Get it nice and soapy, nice and bubbly. The bonus with the sponge is that you can get into the nooks and crannies real nicely. So touring car shells, you've got all these just annoying wee fucking ribs and shit that they decided to put on to make things look cool. Absolute pain in the ass for the painters. Especially the areas where your wings go on touring cars. Buggies, for instance, not too bad. Some of the later buggies with the fins down the back from where around where the engine comes out. Also, a lot of them are starting to put those gay-ass fins on the fucking roof. And they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like a competition to see whose fucking fins bigger. Who knows? Aerodynamic-wise, I don't think it does fuck all. Painting-wise, pain in the ass. So sponge works fantastically. You can really squeeze it in and get a good kind of, make sure you get the mold release out of those areas, because if it was going to pull up anywhere out of the mold, it'll be in those nooks and crannies. The other thing I really want to stress is around the edges. So touring cars, especially down the sides and the bumpers, and buggies around the sides and around that nose area as well on a buggy. Especially if it's a shell a customer has sent you, like a kit shell where it's not been in a plastic bag, and you got the issue of fingerprints. The guys pull the shells out and they start having a wee fucking froth over them, going, oh fuck, this is going to be fucking great, and they finger the shit out of them. There's more fingering going on there than a 15-year-old's fucking school social. So really stress that you get a good scrub with a sponge or kid's face cloth, fuck, anything soft like that, rag, around those fucking side edges, and especially the nose on buggies, because that's a haven for fingerprints. Once that's done, it's all nice and soapy, I then just rinse it in the shower. So I'll fill it up with water, I'll give it a good fucking shake, and I tip it out, and then give it another fucking rinse. And lo and behold, next thing you know, you just got water in there, there's no suds. So then, final rinse off, you get some suds on the other side, just rinse in the shower, put it in the bathtub, wash the rest of them. And then I bring them out to the shed here where I've got my drying set up, all fucking tickety-boo now. Before I had this set up, I'd put them on the fireplace. I have dried them in the oven before, 50 degrees fan bake, fucking mint tits. And just wait until they're relatively dry. You'll still get some residual water on the inside, but you have to get that out. So my next step is I have these lovely rolls of fucking work issue. You may notice these come out of the automatic fucking paper towel dispensers in your local fucking toilets. I flog rolls of them from work. They don't know. Fantastic. I've had this roll for like a year and a half now, and I'm only just kind of getting to the end of it. So I'll grab one of them, a big fucking handful of them, like I'm wiping my ass, and I use my ISO, which is actually inside at the moment under the sink. Mrs. stashes it on me. And I douse the rag with the isopropanol, and I give it a good rinse out. Now, for you guys, I don't know if I've told everyone, ISO can be a bit of a bitch to get hold of. They think you're going to make drugs with it. Easiest place, Gordon & Harris. Most of you have a Gordon & Harris handy. I've got to travel to Christchurch to get mine. I think it's like $18 a litre, but I use it all the time. I'd be fucked without ISO. So if you haven't got ISO, get ISO. You can buy it from cleaning supply stores in 5 litre bottles as well. Just get whatever you can, you need it. So I give it a good wipe out with the isopropanol on the rag. Does 3 things. First thing it does is removes any static. Second thing it does is it removes any residual oils or mold release that are left on there. And also removes the possibility of soap scum or you get watermarks. The other thing I do is, the other thing it does is helps dry any residual water out of the shell. I'm just going to plug my phone in quickly, so bear with me. We'll stick that one back in the fucking hole. Get in there. Get in there. There we go, bit of an angle shot now. So once you've done it, hit it with the ISO, you know it's going to be clean, so don't fucking touch it again. Not many guys use them. I use rubber gloves, guys. I steal them from work again. If you want some, I'll steal some boxes. Bring them to you. Rubber gloves. I airbrush with them. I paint. Do everything with rubber gloves. So I never touch the shell once it's fucking clean. I only take them off once I finish painting. So once the washing's done, the next step is the masking. Pretty easy. All of us are using Biddy Designs mask. As far as I'm concerned, I've tried a few others. Biddy's is just rock solid. Yeah, it smells like fucking feet, but who cares? It's cheap. Well, relatively cheap, and it works, so why change? I use the good old Repco Mech Pro HVLP, $39 I think I paid for this. I don't even think I paid for it, I think my stepbrother did. Cheers, Tomo. You don't need anything fancy. You put the pink shit in here, and then you pull the trigger thing, and then it squirts out here. And I've just got it directly connected up to the air compressor. No regulator, nothing, just straight fucking juice. The only thing that I do use a lot is this one here, which adjusts your spray width. If I get clogs, I'll turn this right off, so it's just straight out the nozzle, blows the clog right out. So if you're having chunks coming out of your gun, just fucking turn the nozzle down. The other good thing about it is you can get it so you're just spraying in a direct spot. So when you're doing those wee crevicey bits that kind of won't get there with a broad spray, you can just give them a quick wee fucking touch up with the old fucking gun turned down. Mint it. If you don't have one, spend the fucking 30 or 40 bucks. I pissed around for fucking years brushing on mask because I was too much of a cheap cunt to spend 40 bucks on a fucking cheap gun. When I finally got one, it was like, what the fuck have I been doing for the last few years? It was just night and day. It was, if you ain't got one, get one. Plain and simple. As far as the masking goes, 3 coats out of a gun, or even 3 coats with brush on. Out of the gun will go smoother. It makes it much easier for cutting the designs. You don't have to go over the fucking bumps from your paintbrush. Pay good attention to all areas. You sometimes get a wee bit laxed in the central areas. You think it's got enough on it, but it doesn't, because you've seen pooling around the edges. So make sure you give the centre as much love as the rest of the body. Like I said before, pay attention to nooks and crannies, especially with some of the modern shells and the way they're doing the moulding. You can get thin areas, like these touring car shells have got these kind of stepped up bits in here. This one's not as bad. I've had some where it's been a real prick to get the paint up and around corners. If I have real issues with them, I think it's not quite thick enough, I'll simply just dip a paintbrush into my pot on my gun, and I'll actually manually paint those bits on. Now, 3 coats. If you don't do 3 coats, you're going to have a cunt of a time trying to peel your mask once you start laying on the paint. So what ends up happening is, if your mask is too thin, the paint will go over top of the mask and it forms a bridge. And so you end up with more surface tension to the paint than you do with the mask. And when you start peeling the next layer of mask off, you actually end up just tearing the paint instead of kind of pulling the mask away. That's why you're getting those jagged edges. It's not enough mask. Your shells should be nice and pink by the time you're done. If it's not pink, biff another fucking layer of mask on it. I went through countless fucking paint jobs with too thin mask. when I was starting painting, there was piss all people doing it. I was a bit of a lone soldier, and had to kind of work things out myself because other people didn't want to kind of give you their tips. So first tip from me is put on more masks than you think you fucking need, because there's nothing worse than doing this fucking sweet design. You get to that last layer of paint to peel off, especially when you're dealing with candies and transparents with fucking multiple layers. Like you start with a transparent blue, you throw in your silver, your blacks, your fucking this, that. You got 20 layers of paint on, and you try and peel a fucking pinstripe and half your fucking paint comes off. Nothing worse than that. Having to go through with a knife and a fucking toothpick cleaning up your lines to make it kind of salvageable. Fucking heartbreaking. Had many a shells back in the day that had issues like that. So this video, masking, 3 layers, dried in between each, nice clean shell, fucking booyah. Hopefully this one works when I load it up. I won't drop it out the window like the other one if you manage to watch through all of it without the sound. And then I'll move on to design, because that's the next key thing, is design. So bear with me. I'll see if I can get this fucking shit sorted out. We'll see what fucking happens.